And so we will start our legislative meeting for tonight. Mr. Epps is doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the Statement of Acknowledgement.
Thank you and good evening. I will start the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll continue with the Statement of Acknowledgement and Honor of Indigenous and Diverse Communities. We begin this meeting with acknowledgement of and honor for the many legacies that have impacted our community, particularly those buried over time. Acknowledging truth is critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. Cheltenham Township stands within the Lenape-Honik, the ancestral homeland of the Lenni-Lenape civilization. Their people were and still are caretakers of this land and its rivers, and their legacy continues. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Our community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in the hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together. As a school district committed to fostering intellectual curiosity and discourse in service of social justice, join us in uncovering such truths.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. Mr. Swigart will do the roll call for the board.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Ms. Henry?
Present.
Mr. Schultz?
Present.
Ms. Mulhern?
Present.
Mr. Epps?
Present.
Ms. Murphy?
Present.
Dr. Whiting?
Present.
Mr. Burdell Williams?
Present.
Ms. Lohman?
Present.
Ms. Blitzstein?
Present.
That concludes our roll call. I know the agenda is not up yet, so I'm just going to follow. I have the agenda up in the background for me. Do we have anyone online to provide the student council report? I'm looking in the room.
Here.
Okay, Emma. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so good evening, Cheltenham School Board. My name is Emma Zubeiru. Cheltenham High School Student Council met on Wednesday, January 26. I will now read our updates. Senior night for swimming, bocce, basketball, and wrestling were held. Curriculum night was held on January 17th. The class of 2025 sold flowers for Valentine's Day that will be delivered on the 14th, and the Valentine's Day dance was canceled due to lack of interest.
That's your report, Emma?
Yes, that concludes my report.
Thank you. And I'm going to cut you off. All right, Mr. Diazio will provide the solicitor's report.
Yes, thank you and good evening. The board has met in executive session twice since January's legislative board meeting. Those executive sessions were on January 30th, 2024 and February 6th, 2024. And the topic of both executive sessions was to discuss the collective bargaining negotiations with the Cheltenham Education Association. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Diazio. Approval of the January 16th minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Mia Blitzstein.
Second, Robin Murphy.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, so the motion carries. The minutes are approved. Mr. DeAndrea is going to provide recognitions for Cheltenham High School. And yes, we are sorry that we're not in the auditorium today.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Ms. Henry, and good evening to all board members, Dr. Scriven and Dr. Smith. I am sad that we are not in the boardroom, so you are able to see all the amazing student artwork, but we do have pictures to give you a preview of what you will see hopefully next Tuesday when you attend the Educational Affairs meeting. So on the walls in the boardroom, there are portraits, still life, fantasy drawings, sculptures, graphic design, digital illustration, and digital photography using pencil, colored pencil, mixed media, watercolor, acrylic
Wow.
paint, digital cameras, computers, and more. Many of these pieces of art will be showcased next month at the PSEA Annual High School Touch the Future Student Art Show at the Bluebell Art Gallery in Montgomery County Community College. I want to extend a special thank you to all the members of our art department for all that they do to nurture and expand our students' creativity. And I look forward to hopefully all of you having an opportunity to see these amazing pieces in person. If you are not able to next Tuesday, they will also be showcased at our annual art show, which is in May, that all of you are invited to. Next slide, please. Instead of highlighting briefly several topics this year, I would like to spend the next few minutes talking about the college level coursework options that we offer to students at Cheltenham High School. We are very proud to offer 30 different advanced placement classes, and tonight I'm going to highlight some of the successes in our AP program. However, I also want to acknowledge other ways that our students can access college level coursework. Through the work of Ms. Charlene Collins and the Office of Education, we have now expanded our opportunities for students to take classes for dual credit through partnerships at 8 different colleges and universities, including LaSalle, Penn State Abington, Montgomery County Community College, Arcadia, and more. These opportunities allow students to earn both high school and college credit at the same time, and many of them are available online so that students don't have to worry about transportation. At Cheltenham High School, one of our top priorities is expanding access to these opportunities, both AP courses and dual credit courses. We know that the skills that students build and enhance in these college level courses in high school will benefit them no matter what college and career options they choose after graduation. So in the remaining short time I have tonight, I want to highlight some successes in our AP program, which I believe show that we have a strong foundation upon which to build as we increase the participation of students who have been historically underrepresented in college level opportunities in high school, including Black, African American, Hispanic, and/or Latino students, as well as students who are eligible for free or reduced price meals. As a result, tonight I'm going to highlight the 2023 exam data from 5 of our AP courses. Next slide, or this slide. AP United States History is the first AP course that many students take, and it covers a tremendous amount of historical content. On each slide as we go through this, you will see in the upper left corner the 2023 exam average for the students who took the exam at Cheltenham, as well as for all students throughout the world who took the exam in 2023. Last year, our school average was 3.46, and the overall average for all test takers was 2.54. Underneath that, you will see the percentage of students who earned a score of 3 or higher. As you know, AP exams are scored on a scale of 1 to 5, with 3 considered passing. Last year, our school pass rate on this exam was 78%, compared to the overall pass rate of 47.5% for all test takers. On the right side of each screen, you will see a graph that highlights the percentage of students at Cheltenham in blue and all test takers in gold who earned each score in 2023. As you can see, the percentage of test takers overall who earned each score declines as the score increases, whereas the opposite is generally true for students who took the course here at Cheltenham. And I know on the screen that may not look gold, but it was supposed to be blue and gold. Next slide, please. Now I want to take a moment and look at one of our science courses, AP Physics C Mechanics. This is a calculus-based physics course and one of 4 AP Physics courses that we offer. As you can see on the left side, all students who took the exam at Cheltenham last year passed it with an overall average higher than the average of all test takers. And once again, on the right side, you see in blue the data for students who took the exam at Cheltenham High School and gold for all students who took the exam around the world. Next slide, please. This slide shows data related to AP Psychology. This exam has one of the lowest pass rates consistently across all test takers year to year. For 2023, the pass rate overall was 59.6%, as you see on the left side, whereas it was 73.5% at Cheltenham High School. In addition, in the upper left corner, you see that our average score was about 0.4 higher than the overall average. As you can see on the right, these higher results are largely as a result of more 3s and 4s on the exam for the students who took the exam at Cheltenham High School. Next slide, please. Next, I would like to shift and look at an AP World Language class. All of our students who took AP Spanish language last year passed the course with an average score of 3.88, significantly higher than the overall average, and the large majority of the students earned a score of 4, as you can see on the right side. Next slide, please. And finally, I want to take a moment to look at AP English Literature. This is typically the final English course that students take as seniors while in high school, and it requires a great deal of reading, writing, and analysis. At Cheltenham, 95.5% of our students who took the test passed it with an average score of 4 compared to 77.2% overall with an average of 3.26. The fact that more than a third of test takers at Cheltenham High School earned a 3 or 5 on the exam is especially notable. Next slide, please. So the purpose of sharing these data with you is just to briefly highlight some of the successes in our AP program and to showcase the foundation that I believe exists upon which we are building very intentionally at Cheltenham High School to work to increase access to our AP courses and our dual credit opportunities for all students. And as I highlighted at the beginning, especially students who have historically been underrepresented in college level opportunities in high school. In closing, I would just like to take a moment to highlight a few of the upcoming opportunities where you can see our awesome students perform and a variety of fine arts activities. There's a lot that's happening in the next few weeks. Next weekend, not President's Day weekend, but the following weekend is when our band program hosts a jazz band competition on Friday evening and a color guard and drumline competition on Saturday. It's notable that Cedarbrook performs at 8:30 at the jazz band competition, followed by Cheltenham High School at 8:55 if you don't want to see all the other schools. And then at the end of the month, we have our annual Vocal Arts Coffee House, which is a very informal opportunity, but a great way to see some of our students' many talents. And then the first full week of March, we have our annual night of chamber music, which is very impressive in the Little Theater on Wednesday, March 6th. And then our spring musical is rapidly approaching, which this year is Shrek, which is scheduled for Thursday, March 7th through Saturday, March 9th at 7 p.m. in Stretton Hall. And so we would love to see any of you if you're available for these upcoming events. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this evening, and have a good rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. DeAndrea, and thank you for giving us those dates in advance. I can plug those onto my calendar. So next we have the superintendent's report provided by Dr. Scriven.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just give us 1 second as Kevin gets set, Mr. Kaufman gets set up. You can go to the next slide, Mr. Kaufman. So as you're aware, it's February, and even though we would like to honor culture, and especially the Black history culture all year, February is that designated month. And I'd just like to highlight some of the things specifically that are happening within our district to celebrate the Black History Month. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which is ASALH, is proud to announce the annual Black History theme of African American and the Fine Arts for 2024. African American art is infused with African, Caribbean, and the Black American lived experience in the fields of visual and performing arts, literature, fashion, folklore, language, film, music, architecture, culinary, and other forms of cultural expression. The African American influence has been paramount. Next slide, please. Wanted to highlight, and since you are putting dates on the calendar, Wednesday, February 21st, please put that on your calendar, as that will be the opportunity for school-based performances, community groups, food and merchandise vendors. This is our big event that we have every year where all schools come together and we have African American Black History celebration. So again, that is February 21st, next Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock at Cheltenham High School, Stratton Hall. Next slide, please. So just want to highlight some of the things we're doing, and I really thank Mr. Kaufman and Ricky on our communication team for just their diligence with showcasing. We have different students throughout Black History Month who are featured on social media, offering their responses to questions about what this month means to them and how they are celebrating and which BIBOC acronym person inspires them. That acronym, just because I know how we are with acronyms, are Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, and aims to emphasize the historic oppression of Black and Indigenous people. This affords our students an opportunity to really share which one of these great trailblazers resonate with them, and they elaborate on that, which is posted on the website and showcasing various students. Next slide, please. More dates, and some have passed. At the high school on February 5th to the 9th was a Black History Spirit Month. CBK is doing their month-long door decorating contest. You're going to see a sample of what they do in a later slide. Tomorrow, the 14th, is the African American History B kickoff at EP. On the 29th, EP Elkins Park will be having the ABCs of Black History show. Wincode is doing a month-long Black History Art Gallery. Myers on February 27th, PBIS, Black History Celebration Olympics. Glenside, February 27th, we'll be having a Black History Month show. And Cheltenham on February 29th is having a Black History Month assembly. Next slide, please. This is just visual of some of the artwork which is being displayed at Wincode. Would definitely strongly encourage you to get by. A gallery of paintings, collages, and quilts by Black artists with info tag and prompt questions that students answer and interact with. The intent was for students to interact with the gallery like they're in an art museum. Teachers signed up for times to visit the gallery with classes, and we're excited about that initiative at Wincode.
Hey, Dr. Scriven, you were
Following
frozen.
slide.
You were frozen for a minute, so I'm sure we missed some of what you were saying.
All right, let me go again. So just in terms of this visual, it was with respect to the Black History experience at Wincode Elementary School. And it's a gallery of paintings, collages, and quilts by Black artists with an info tag and prompt questions for students to interact with. The intent is for students to interact with the gallery like they're at an art museum. Teachers have signed up for times to visit the gallery, and their classes will visit during their art class time. So the focus is more around art appreciation and learning about Black culture throughout art. Just was encouraging all of you to get through to see that display over at the elementary school. It's currently up now. The next slide is just really a salute, and you can go to the next one. These are more pictures. Oh, go back. Let me clarify. Go back one more, Mr. Kaufman. These are some of the doors. Go Go to the next slide. These are some of the doors that at Cedarbrook. So this is an example of that month-long door decorating contest that they do. It's really awesome, and the teachers and students put in a lot of time and effort. And then we can go to our final slide. Final slide is a bitter but sweet slide. Just really wanted to kind of highlight Dr. Smith. We don't want to play it yet. I do believe that our state representative is a part of our panel tonight. State Representative Napoleon Nelson. Before we showed the slide, just in celebration of Dr. Smith, our state representative had a citation that he'd just like to read, acknowledging Dr. Smith for her tireless work over the last 8 years. So Napoleon Nelson, State Representative, if you're on, please unmute so you can present the citation.
Sure, I'm absolutely here. It is a pleasure, honor, and I agree with you, actually. It is bittersweet to have to do this and say goodbye. But we're so thrilled with the work that you've done here and the contributions that you've made to this school district. I remember when we brought you in and how excited and how much anticipation we had. And just knowing that it was all made and brought to fruition. We're thrilled about the work that you've done. Thank you so much for your leadership. So yes, we do have a little citation. I don't know if you guys can see all that. From the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it says, whereas State Representative Napoleon Nelson is pleased to recognize and congratulate the Commonwealth's dedicated public servants, bringing a notable measure of pride to his state. And whereas Dr. Tamara Thomas Smith is a fixture in the Cheltenham School District who over the past 8 years has helped both the powerful and powerless in her position as an administrator. And whereas Dr. Smith brings great credit upon this community, school district, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania with her acumen, wisdom, and heart for representing parents, students, and faculty across all matters facing the district. And whereas Dr. Smith faced challenges head-on and delivered measurable results for one of the finest school districts in Pennsylvania. And whereas Dr. Smith used her abilities to create a learning environment fit for thousands of students who matriculated through Cheltenham School District under her guidance. And whereas Dr. Smith spent countless hours challenging, shaping, and inspiring my own understanding of pedagogy and the most honorable craft of molding future leaders. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, State Representative Napoleon Nelson, recognize and congratulates Dr. Tamara Thomas Smith for her outstanding job serving Cheltenham, wishes her luck in her elevation to superintendent, and directs that a copy of this citation be delivered to you, Dr. Smith, on February 13th. 2024. It is, or at least it will be signed by me, just so that you know this is going to be real down here. It's an absolute pleasure, honor, and knowing that you're not going too far, we will continue to stay in touch. Our many thanks to you, Dr. Smith.
State Representative, thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate it. At this time, Dr. Smith, I just wanted to say I am not part of the video because you will always have me in person as I welcome you to the ranks in your new position as superintendent at Upper Merion. We will now be colleagues within Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. As this is your last legislative meeting with us, I know you will have one more duty next Tuesday with your last Ed Affairs meeting. But I simply wanted to say thank you for your service. Thank you for being a thought partner over my last 2.5 years. As this chapter of your life closes, we know that there's only great things still ahead of you as you move the system of Upper Merion forward. So I take this opportunity simply to salute you, Our board has flowers for you. We had flowers for you, but that's a part of the job, the ability to be nimble and pivot, as you know so well. And at this time, Mr. Kaufman, if you could play the video of just individuals that wanted to just give you a farewell. And again, apologies that this could not be in person, but the show must go on. So, Mr. Kaufman.
Hi, Dr. Smith. Just wanted to say thanks so much for all your support over the years. We really appreciate it.
Good luck on your new position at your new school district.
Dr. Smith, it's been a pleasure working with you, and while we are sorry to see you go, we wish you all the best.
Good luck, Dr. Smith.
When I applied for the position as your administrative assistant, I stepped out on faith, and I'm so glad that I did. Working under your leadership these past few years, I have learned and grown both professionally and personally. It has been a tremendous honor, and I thank you so much for your guidance and support. Dr. Smith, I wish you all the best as you continue to have a positive and profound impact on the lives of students and families.
Hi, Dr. Smith. It has been a pleasure working with you. You have been a true and amazing leader. Thank you for everything. I wish you all the success in your new job. You will be missed.
Good luck, Dr. Smith. Good luck, Dr. Smith.
It's great working with you. Good luck.
Dr. Smith, I want to say you're going to be missed. I appreciate your consistency, but also just how you demonstrate excellence. I wish you the best moving forward, and I definitely want to remain in contact with you because you are not only just a great leader, but you're a great person to be around on a regular basis.
Hey, Dr. Smith, I'm super excited for you to take this next step in your journey for your career. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the district and for myself included. Good luck.
Best of luck, Dr. Smith. It's been great working with you. I look forward to hearing about all the great things you accomplish in your next district.
Dr. Smith, thank you for being such an exemplary leader. It has been a pleasure working with you and watching you do your magic, and good luck in your new job. You will be wonderful no matter where you are, and I will continue to grow from all of the things that I've learned from you.
Dr. Smith, as you move on to your next well-deserved stage in your career, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership and for your expertise and for the opportunity to serve Cheltenham School District as the Director of Student Services. A big part of that is because of you, and so very grateful and thankful to have worked with you for these last couple of years, and wish you the best of luck on your next journey.
All right, Dr. Smith, so our time together was short, but I want to tell you how much I appreciate you having the faith and bringing me here to Cheltenham, and I look forward to continuing your work. And don't be a stranger, because I know where you are and I will find you. Good luck.
Yep. Dr. Smith, congratulations. We're going to miss you, and it's never too late to change your mind.
Dr. Smith, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done here. Thank you for your leadership and how you've always ensured that we put our students first in all aspects, making sure they received everything they need. I know that you will do extremely well in Upper Merion, and I wish you all the best, but you will truly be missed.
Dr. Smith, it has been an honor and a privilege working with you for the past 8 years. Your leadership, your friendship, and your storytelling will surely be missed. Wish you all the best in your new role as superintendent.
Dr. Smith, I am so grateful that I have had the opportunity to work with you in my first year in Cheltenham School District. Your mentorship, your guidance, your leadership example has been absolutely priceless. Upper Merion is absolutely going to feel the same, and we wish you absolutely the best. Thank you for everything you have done, the spirit you have given, and your unending dedication to Cheltenham School District. Again, we are so grateful for everything you've done for us.
Hi, Dr. Smith. This is Dr. Robinson. I just want to say congratulations on this wonderful accomplishment. I wish you the best and much success in your new role. Upper Merion is blessed to have you.
Hello, Dr. Smith. I am very excited for you in this new chapter that you are endeavoring on. I know that you will do a wonderful job as you have done here in Cheltenham. I am very grateful for your leadership in my short time here. Since day one, you've been very helpful. You've been a mentor, and you've helped me grow as a better administrator. I wish you well, and the students that you are going to encounter are very blessed to have you.
Hey, Dr. Smith. Welcome to this season of new beginnings for you. As I think about new beginnings, I think about the beginning of every school year in Cheltenham School District and wonder how we're going to get the family updates on your kids. Maybe we'll have to come to Upper Merion. On a more serious note, I think about the new beginnings of my role as the principal at Wyncote Elementary School and the grace and mentorship and friendship you've offered me. The best advice you ever gave me was giving me your phone number and saying, call Dr. Smith with any questions. I still have your phone number. I'll be calling in this season of New Beginnings. Best of luck, and we'll miss you.
Hi, Dr. Smith. I just wanted to say congratulations. You know, I just have always found you to be a pretty direct and a very intelligent woman. And, you know, being a woman, especially a woman in color in administration, is not always easy. And so I know that you have a journey ahead of you, and I want you to know that I support you. I've appreciated your leadership here in the Cheltenham School District, and I know that you are going to, you know, really make your mark as a superintendent. And so I just wish you well and congratulations.
Dr. Smith, just want to thank you for all the leadership that you've shown our school district. I know our scholars and staff will miss you tremendously. I also will miss you as well. I believe you've done a lot to support me as a leader, and good luck with all your endeavors.
Congratulations, Dr. Smith, on your appointment as superintendent of the Upper Merion School District. Thank you very much for all your contributions to our school district over the past 8 years, and we wish you all the best in your new role.
So that brings closure to the presentation. During the consent agenda, I know the board will have comments. And at that time, after their comments, Madam Chair, if it's okay that we take a point of privilege and let Dr. Smith have any remarks at that time, that would greatly be appreciated. At this time, Madam Chair, that does bring closure to my report, and I pass the mic back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Scriven. We're at the public comments on agenda items only portion. And so if you are in the Zoom room, you can raise your hand and you'll be unmuted if you have any comments on agenda items. If you are watching streaming, you can email CSD board meeting comments@cheltenham.org, and we will read your comments.
Ms. Henry, there are no raised hands.
Okay, well, we will move on.
1 second, actually. We've got Mr. Metcalf.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Mr. Metcalf.
So I can't see the full agenda, but I do, you know I did a video for Dr. Smith. I'm assuming that you know, she's on tonight for her resignation. So I just wanted to make a comment. You know, so just wanted to publicly say thank you. I know this is not in person. I rather would have done this in person around everybody, would have had some flowers and things like that. But you know, just wanted to say she's truly going to be missed. You know, a quick story: when I left Cheltenham as a teacher, where I went to have my first administrative job, you know, I knew who Dr. Smith was, and the people who trained me to be an administrator were good friends with Dr. Smith. When I came back to Cheltenham, you know, I knew I was in good hands because, again, like I said, the people who trained me and worked hard in supporting me were people who worked with Dr. Smith. There's no one like her, right? She's from the old school with regards to knowing instruction and you know, having many of the answers that we often look for. Many people wouldn't know this. I know I can be very long-winded, right? But despite that, she always keeps me under wraps with regards to everything I want to say versus what I need to say. Even when I'm doing those presentations, you guys don't even understand the text messages that I get. But I want to thank Dr. Smith for tempering me many times. She has been a great thought partner when we're coming up with solutions on how to support scholars the best. It's not easy having myself along with Kevin, kind of making decisions because sometimes we get a little crazy. But Dr. Scriven, that's going to be your job now to temper me down at times. But I'm also still happy that we're part of a great team with Cheltenham School District. I know your shoes will be hard to fill. The one thing I want to say, I mean, it's kind of a joke, but it's not a joke. I kind of always knew when Dr. Smith was interviewing or looking for a job because she would be taking her braids out and things of that nature. And something that Crystal Clark said, for Black women in particular, I think the boys said it best, you always are walking in two worlds, right? And you have to have this second sight. Walking in one world where, it's the professional world, which is not very similar to us having to have that second sight of the Black world that we walk in where we want to be ourselves. So I say that to say, it takes time sometimes, and it's not right, it's not okay, but it takes time for us sometimes to get to that level or position where we can finally take off that mask, right? And so, as we continue to climb, I hope you continue to, peel back those layers, because there's so much more that's missing, and for all the people of color, since it is Black History Month, we have to continue to fight to peel off our mask, in public, wherever it may be. Because oftentimes it's unfortunate that we have to play the game in the system. So I'm very happy that, you've amassed the opportunity to be where you are. It's definitely to be celebrated, and thank you again for all you've done. And while you're there, let's continue to push to ensure that others don't have to wear that mask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf.
We have two more hands raised.
Okay.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Paris. I have a student in Cheltenham High School. Sorry, home is always home, and at Cedarbrook. I just wanted to thank Dr. Smith personally for all she's done for our district, for always being on the right side, for putting in all those hours, and during COVID with making calls and keeping us all on point. And as my friend, I am so very proud of you. So very proud of you. I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful it is for you to be honored with such a wonderful position. I am so proud of you. God bless. And just know you'll always be in my heart.
Thank you. And I believe we have one more person.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Dana Burnley. I have a alumni from 2018, and I have a current 10th grader at the high school. I just wanted to express my gratitude to Dr. Smith. She doesn't know all of this, but just as a mother of color, as a mother of sons, as a mother of athletes, as a professional woman who is a mother. Dr. Smith, you are very inspiring, very old school like myself. I've watched you go through some adversity and still remain composed. So just know that everything goes noticed, even in those darkest hours, and it should be commended. And I know in the future days that you will be a total blessing to your next school district. So again, thank you for being an inspiration. I know I don't say much, but again, thank you again, and many, many blessings. And I know you would also add so much value. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And Kevin, I think I see one more hand up in the chat.
Yes, we do. 1 second. Ms. Smith, you're up.
Good evening, Cheltenham family. I just want to say congratulations to Dr. Smith. Your tenure has been nothing short of amazing. It's been innovative and so very inspiring. Your heart and your passion for education, putting students first, it definitely leaves a legacy and a footprint for us to follow. Thank you so much for your leadership and your dedication. My children and the Cheltenham School District family have been truly blessed and enriched under your tenure. Thank you for all that you do. Joy for the journey ahead. Kudos and congratulations, Dr. Smith.
Thank you. I didn't know, Dr. Smith, if you want to wait until we get to the agenda, the consent agenda, or if you wanted to speak now.
Now it's fine.
Okay.
So, first and foremost, I'm very surprised and very emotional, for a lot of reasons. So hopefully I can get out a few words. The first thing I do want to do is, state publicly that Dr. Scrivens, leadership, his temperament, his class, and just in general how he deals with things has really made these last 3 years very more rewarding for me during my time here. So I had to start off with that because he could have come in as a new leader and did things a lot differently, and he did not, and I'm forever grateful for that. I also just quickly want to thank all of the people who I have worked with alongside since I've been in Cheltenham. I thank all of you for your kind words, and I just need all of you to know that I've learned so much from you as well. And I take those things that I've learned with me to lead a new community. And so I thank all of you for pouring into me. And as you all know, if you know me, you'll receive a personal thank you as well. But I do want to acknowledge everyone publicly for their kind words and for their well wishes. And I'm definitely going to keep in touch. And I definitely appreciate all that all of you have done to help me grow professionally and personally.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. All right, next we will move on to the committee's report section of the agenda. Mr. Schultz will provide the financial affairs update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Financial Affairs Committee met on the evening of February 6th in a hybrid format hosted at the Administration Building. Following roll call and approval of minutes, the agenda items were as follows: an interim financial statements report, a report on the 2024-2025 preliminary budget, and a presentation about the feasibility study. The preliminary budget, for those who aren't closely following our budget process, is a pretty early step. It's an early look at the shape of the budget. It doesn't, as presented, it doesn't yet reflect potential changes to expenditures related to actively negotiated contracts. So that would mean the CEA contract, which is being negotiated. And it also does not reflect potential changes to revenues, which means it doesn't have any proposed tax increases built in, and it doesn't reflect potential increases from state funding from the governor's recent budget presentation. Given those constraints, the preliminary budget reflects a deficit of around $900,000 for next year. And again, I want to underscore that's very early, and that's just a reflection of our known expense increases. The feasibility study presentation was an opportunity for the firm KCBA, which is working with us to perform this study, to report their initial findings from their analysis of our current facilities. The presentation included a range of possible paths forward related to the Elkins Park Intermediate School, the high school's air conditioning and HVAC, as well as the administration building, which are all sort of the three highest need facilities in our district. The presentation also included an analysis of our financial constraints, because obviously any decisions made needs to reflect what is actually possible. I encourage members of the community to find time to watch the recording of this presentation and follow-up discussions, because in order to understand the decisions the district are facing over the next several months related to these facilities, I think that presentation is going to be really important for the grounding. So again, no decisions were made. It was just a presentation of facts and information. And the next Financial Affairs Committee meeting will be held on March 5th in the administration building via Zoom, as well, following the 7 o'clock Facilities Committee meeting. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Dr. Whiting will provide the Educational Affairs update.
Thank you, Madam President. The Educational Affairs Committee met January 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. in a hybrid format at the Administrative Building. Following roll call and the approval of minutes, the meeting included a presentation by Dr. Catrambone, Ms. D, Ms. Kukler, and Dr. Link. Dr. Catrambone reviewed special education, including the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act and the 6 tenets of special education. He also reviewed the child find process to ensure we identify children with disabilities, and that includes participation by the MCIU, Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, through parent requests, through outside reports, through the multi-tiered system of supports, private schools, and through preschools to ensure we are catching all of our students with disabilities and differences. Dr. Catrambone then described the 13 qualified disability categories and the ways in which IEPs, individualized education programs, are developed in collaboration with caregivers and the child supports teams, and also presented a new framework that they are using to develop the special education program, which includes high quality standards aligned curriculum and instructional resources, evidence-based practices, a balanced system of assessments, and professional learning and collaboration between people in the program. The new framework will include district-wide training with a special emphasis on paraprofessional training to ensure that they meet the needs of students they are supporting with feedback from caregivers. Ms. Kukler, Dr. Lank, and Ms. D then reviewed the 3 committees that were formed to support the framework identified by Dr. Catrambone. The first committee had a focus on learning support and identified 22 teachers across the district piloting 7 different programs with targeted individualized education program-based goals and programming. Those meetings focused on providing reading and math instruction as both a replacement and supplement to general education materials depending on individual student need as identified in the individualized education program. This committee is currently collecting data on student outcomes and teacher and caregiver perceptions of programming to make decisions about curriculum and programming to be more widely adopted in the 2024-2025 school year. The second committee included autistic support and life skills, and even though there are 2 different areas of focus, they are collaborating in a single committee. The goal of this committee is to create a program continuum for life skills students from K through 12 to identify and implement robust professional development programming for staff, teachers, paraprofessionals, service providers, and administrators. Staff are going to continue to work with the Bucks County Intermediate Unit to support the life skills program based on students' individualized education programs. In the future, paraprofessionals, teachers, and administrators will have opportunities to provide feedback to the committee moving forward on those goals. The third committee included an emotional support committee, which includes students who have difficulty and differences in emotional regulation, behavior management, and displaying appropriate social skills with peers and adults. The goals of this committee are to align work with existing curriculum and programs across the district, to review and gauge the effectiveness of current programming, and determine what current and ongoing professional development is required to create and maintain a culture where staff are supported across settings. They are currently working with the Pennsylvania Training and Technical Assistance Network and continually ask the question in this committee, what can we improve on? The team closed with a formal presentation highlighting the usefulness of bi-weekly Wednesday early dismissals to ensure that staff, including paraprofessionals, receive more face-to-face specialized training for their specific needs in supporting students with individualized education programs, learning disabilities, and differences. I also want to extend a special thank you to Ed Diasio and Dr. Scriven for a recent board-related training that prepared me to chair this group for the first time, and to President Henry and Ms. Mulhern for their guidance as I chaired my first committee meeting. I'm grateful for all of your support. The next Educational Affairs Committee meeting will be on Tuesday, February 20th at 7 p.m. here in the administrative building in a hybrid format. Thus concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Whiting. Eastern Center for Arts and Technology report will be provided by Mr. Burdell Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. The Eastern Center for Arts and Technology did not meet in January, so I do not have a report. However, I will share that the next meeting of the Eastern Center for Arts and Technology Joint Operating Committee is tomorrow at 8 p.m. via Zoom. And the link to that meeting can be found at Eastern's website, eastech.org. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell Williams.
Sure.
Ms. Lohman will provide the MCIU report.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. The Montgomery County Intermediate Unit Board met on Wednesday, January 24th, 2024 at 6:45 p.m. in person and over Zoom at the MCIU's main offices in Norristown. Prior to the public meeting, the board met in executive session to discuss personnel matters. Highlights from the public meeting included the board appointment of 5 new MCIU board members as a result of the November general election. There was turnover on the MCIU board, so we welcome 5 new members. The board also appointed Margaret Smith of the Springford Area School District to fill the vacancy of board treasurer through June 30th, 2024. We received highlights from the IU's Office of Technology Services, and the board approved the election of Dr. Regina Speaker as executive director of the IU effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2028. Essentially, we were renewing Dr. Speaker's contract for the next 4 years, but there was some procedural things we had to do and it's called we're approving her election. But this was the board renewing Dr. Speaker's contract for the next 4 years. The board approved the following 2024-2025 budgets: Member Services, Office of Facilities and Operations, Transportation Services, Office of Technology, Internal Support, and DEI initiatives. The board also approved an agreement to provide interim business administrator services to the Central Montgomery County Technical Center. The MCIU Office of Facilities and Operations noted that it has been working in conjunction with the Pennsylvania Department of Education's Department of Safe Schools, and the MCIU will be the first entity in Pennsylvania to launch the Act 55 Train the Trainer program, which actually happened on February 2nd, 2024 at the IU's offices. In terms of human resources updates, the IU continues to hire. 17 new employees were hired since the last board meeting in November of 2023. There were 10 resignations and 1 retirement and 3 changes of status. The board approved a partnership agreement with the Luzerne County Intermediate Unit number 18 to offer a countywide special education teacher certification program to address the vacancies in special education teacher positions in that county. Some upcoming events of interest include February 28th to March 1st is the Pennsylvania Department of Education's Bureau of Special Education's annual conference in Hershey, PA. The theme for this year's conference is Making a Difference, Educational Practices at Work. And I know that we have at least 1 member of our administration who's slated to go to that conference, which is always very informative and interesting. And then Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, and we've also been advertising this on our social media, the Montgomery County Annual Diversity and Education Recruitment Fair will be at the IU from 5 to 7 p.m. The next MCIU board meeting will be held in person at 2 West Lafayette Street, Norristown, and over Zoom on Wednesday, February 28th at 6:45 p.m. This ends my report.
Thank you, Ms. Lohman. Mr. Burdell Williams, you are up for the facilities report.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. The February Facilities Committee meeting was held in a hybrid format on Tuesday, February 6, 2024, and was chaired by Ms. Mia Blitzstein. At the meeting, Mr. Holman, the district facilities director, shared updates regarding ongoing and completed projects all across Cheltenham School District. Some key points discussed during the meeting were essentially around a number of continuous improvement projects. At Cheltenham High School, the facilities department painted the interior walls and installed new lighting in the natatorium prior to senior night. This timely upgrade was one that the facilities department was proud to complete in time to help support the recognition of our senior swimmers and those seniors who are following behind them. Also at the high school, we heard an update that was, very much so focused on the corrective maintenance of our boiler system, and that one of the boilers that had been in disrepair and inoperable for a number of months is scheduled for replacement this month. That replacement will provide some needed redundancy for the system in what is seeming like a colder winter than what we've had before, at least in the last few years. At Myers, Mr. Holman shared updates regarding playground slide and bridge upgrades that were installed to improve the safety and enjoyment of the facility, to better help our Myers community enjoy that wonderful piece of property we've got there. At Glenside, there were previously a number of C boxes that were stored on the property that previously stored some furniture and other items. Those C boxes were relocated to the back of the parking lot at Cheltenham High School. Mr. Holman was, I think, also sharing this on behalf of Dr. Robinson, who I know is likely very happy to have that space back and usable for the needs of the Glenside students. Additionally, I was also very happy, and Mr. Holman was also very open with sharing how excited he was about the district's ability to utilize or reuse those C boxes for future use as a peer look into our sustainability efforts. Lastly, Mr. Holman shared an update around tree trimming that's active across the district. Some of that tree trimming has already been completed at Myers and around the Cedar Brook track. The next meeting of the Facilities Committee is on Tuesday. Oh goodness, I'm sorry, I don't have that up in front of me right now.
I think it's March 5th.
That would be great if it was. I'm going to agree with Madam Henry that the next Facilities Committee meeting is March 5th at 7 p.m. following the agenda build and prior to the Financial Affairs Committee. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell Williams. Ms. Mulhern will provide the liaison group update.
Yes, thank you. The liaison group met on Monday, January 22nd at 8 a.m. And just for a very quick review, because I do not think we've had a report from the liaison group since October or November. The liaison group is a group that meets monthly that consists of staff and administration from both the township and the school district, as well as the elected officials representing both. So a few school board members and a few township commissioners. And this past month, we spoke about facilities. Both the district and the township are working on their own feasibility studies and plans, figuring out some facilities decisions. And they are both also using KCBA, which is useful as we chat with each other to see if there are any ways that we can discuss collaboration or just keeping each other up to date. Members of both staffs met after the liaison group meeting to kind of discuss where things were for each group. Second item were a question about fires at the high school. And in fact, we were assured that there have not been fires at the high school. Simply, it is some power surges that have to do with power outages that come from power surges, and there's a lot going on. And Mr. Holman and Mr. Swigert and Dr. Scriven assured us that there were in fact no fires, and they are handling any concerns that do exist. The third item was bus patrol. This is the cameras that are on buses now. This is a collaboration with the school district as well with the police department and the township to capture images and video from anyone who may be passing a school bus when the arm is out and children are present. And that has now been activated. The police department does in fact go over each one that comes in, so it is not an automatic ticket. Each one is viewed, and many of them, not all, but many are found to be in fact ticketable offenses, and tickets are being issued. The first time is $300. We are all hoping that this program helps reduce the number of infractions, which will thus keep our students safer. The fourth item, because we have some new members on the liaison group, wanted to talk about maybe some expectations, what our purpose is, what we're hoping to accomplish this year, and we hope to have a follow-up meeting about that. And the last item, which is under new business, was a discussion around the safety concerns at Myers Elementary recently. Principal Lytle has been working with central administration to address some concerns with safety for our students during drop-off in the morning. And our next meeting will be on February 26th at 8 a.m. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mulhern. Mr. Epps will provide the policy committee update, followed by the legislative report. So you can go, when you conclude your policy committee report, Mr. Epps, you can go right into legislative.
Great. Good evening again, everyone. The policy committee meeting was held on January 30th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in person and streamed online. After the roll call and approval of the October 24th, 2023 minutes, we discussed the policies listed on tonight's consent agenda under and 6 policies are considered for adoption. That's policy 109, which is a proposed title change to school library materials. Policy number 218.2, which deals with weapons and other dangerous items. That'll be proposed title change to weapons. Policy 904, public attendance in school facilities. Number 356 on weapons as well, and also policy number 918, Title I parent family member engagement. Last policy for consideration for adoption under tonight's agenda is number 247 on bullying and harassment. There's also an administrative regulation included that you can find in our documentations. Each of the listed policies under consideration will or as I mentioned, one of them will follow the guidelines of administrative regulation. These are listed in the agenda, but do not require approval from school directors. Other topics discussed during the new business portion of the meeting are 8 first read policies. Number 608 related to bank accounts, 615 related to payroll deductions for employees. 617 dealing with petty cash, which also has administrative regulation. A new policy, number 206.1, around supplemental discipline records, ensuring that we are in line with state regulations. 816, policy 816 is acceptable use of technology, also has an administrative regulation. Number 255, educational opportunity for military children, which is a new policy for our school district. Policy number 202, eligibility of non-resident students. That also has an administrative regulation. And policy number 006 on our meetings. And so those will receive a first read under tonight and will also be considered at our next policy and legislative meeting. The next policy committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 26, 2024. Again, at 7 p.m. in person at the administration building, and also streamed online via Zoom. It wasn't too long ago that I shared some helpful stats around the 195 policies we have in our books. I won't go through all the stats again tonight, but I will also, on behalf of the policy committee, recognize the role that Dr. Smith played in ensuring. I really appreciate how I believe it was Ms. Collins in the video, said that really focusing on the students and what their needs are, and our policies ensure that the rules are set up to focus and respect the needs of students, the needs of our staff, to ensure that we have an inclusive environment that meets our mission. And so, Dr. Smith, thank you. A lot of the administration plays a huge role in ensuring that we talk about the policies that need to be talked about, that there are revisions that need to be made, working along with our solicitor. And so we certainly wouldn't be in a position we are in today without your leadership and support and insight. So thank you on behalf of the policy committee as well, Dr. Smith. That will conclude my policy committee report for tonight, and I will move forward to the legislative report, which, as a member of the Montgomery County School Board Legislative Committee, we meet periodically to discuss proposed and adopted legislation and also issues that require advocacy with our elected officials. And so each legislative meeting, I share the updates on topics that will impact public education. The committee will actually convene later this week, February 15th, via Zoom. And we're actually we will welcome State Rep Joe Soresi, who's the chair of the House Basic Education Subcommittee. And he'll be able to share some updates and insights around the proposed budget, and some other topics that will arise. And so looking forward to that later this week. For the second time, Governor Josh Shapiro proposed an annual budget for the Commonwealth. And so in total, the $48.13 billion budget would focus on funding of public schools, public transit, higher education, and economic initiatives to stimulate the economy. And so education represents a significant portion of the overall budget. And in response to the Supreme Court decision calling on the governor and legislator to adequately fund public schools, the governor has proposed a first-year adequacy formula, as well as funding that accounts for local tax burdens as a, quote, down payment, end quote, while a long-term solution is explored. And so related to education, the governor has proposed a little over $1 billion in new funding for schools, about $900 million. So a healthy portion of that would be spent to support schools under that new adequacy formula to ensure, again, this is making a move to ensure that there's appropriate level of resources throughout the Commonwealth, no matter what zip code you live in. Further, the proposal includes a $50 million increase. This is across the entire Commonwealth, $50 million increase in special education funding, in addition to basic education funding. There's also a proposal to fund pre-K programs to help recruit and retain teachers, around $30 million to do that. Also continued funding for universal free breakfast. That is something that was written into the budget last year and will be continuing into this year's proposal. And then what is also a topic of conversation is that a proposal of about $1.5 billion with a B over 5 years, all dedicated to repair schools and ensure that there's a healthy and safe environment. And so those were a lot of numbers. Again, education represents a huge portion of the overall budget. And for Cheltenham, this is, if you want to keep one of the numbers that I've said, for Cheltenham, the proposed funding would increase state funds by about 36% for our district, which is one of the largest year-to-year increases across the entire Commonwealth. And so what that means in dollars figures would be about an increase of around $2.4 million on top of what the district already receives. And so this is a proposal. None of these numbers are final. It is far from final. The budget assumes the legislator will approve using reserve funds to account for increased spending, and also doing things like legalizing adult use of marijuana. And so these are issues that will require debate and agreement across parties, pass legislation beyond the budget. And so again, when I mentioned that this is a proposal, a lot needs to happen for it to become a reality. And so we'll continue to track progress and advocate as appropriate. So happy to have our state rep, Napoleon Nelson, with us tonight. Again, he is on the state education committee. Our own state senator Art Haywood serves as a significant voice as well. And negotiations throughout the budget process in Pennsylvania are incredibly secretive. However, there are public hearings for each department, and so those will be held throughout the next 2 months, where the budget proposal will receive a lot of questions and answers and explanations around what are some more of the details of the budget proposal. And so again, something to closely follow in relation to the school funding lawsuit that really compels for a long-term solution, and in this budget does something toward that interest. And so I'll end my report with that, and a call to action for anyone within listening ear. Now is the time to continue or begin your advocacy. As I mentioned, our state representatives' names, their information can be found rather easily online. And feel free to make your voice heard, whatever position that you hold. So thanks for listening, and I'll end my report there.
Thank you, Mr. Epps. All right, we are at the approval of our consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Daniel.
Seconded. Zachary Epps.
Okay, Dan made the first motion. Zachary did the second. And before we go on to vote, I wanted to open the floor up to the rest of the board to make comments on anything. Dr. Scriven, I believe you wanted to speak on the appointment of the acting superintendent. So while we are waiting on Dr. Scriven, are there any board members that have any comments? Mr. Schultz?
Yes. I know that we've recognized that as a district, recognized Dr. Smith's tenure and the amazing opportunity for Upper Merion to have her. And of course, the amazing opportunity for Dr. Smith that is so well deserved. I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Smith, for everything that you have done for our district and for our kids. Personally, for the amazing opportunity to get to work with you and learn from you. But you have made such an important mark on this district, championing equity, championing curriculum, championing processes, and really creating space for building on what you've started down the line. So it's not just that you've accomplished things, but you've done so in a way that gives us a blueprint and the reputation as a district and set of leaders who are going to be able to carry that ball forward. So thank you so much for what you've done for our kids and for my kids. Everything they come home from is thanks to your work. So that concludes my comments. But I look forward to seeing your amazing impact in your next position.
Ms. Mulhern?
Yes, thank you. I think when I first met Dr. Smith, it would have been as a parent, and probably a pretty annoying parent, because I was probably calling with a complaint or a comment about something I was not happy with. And that would not be the first and only time Dr. Smith and I would have that part of our relationship. But I want to say is that even when I didn't always like the answer I got, I appreciated and learned so much from Dr. Smith, because there was always, behind what the answer was, I always learned the why. And a lot of what Mr. Schultz just said, talking about equity, talking about curriculum, talking about moving our district and our kids and our teachers forward to where we needed to be, is what kept coming through. And so I want to thank her as a parent, as a community member who got involved. I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Smith and some of her team on a homework committee that started probably 4-ish years ago now. And we finally passed the homework policy last year. And I learned so much in that process as a community member about how the school district works, how governance within the district works, how the administration is working behind the scenes. And it helped me so much, honestly, in my decision to run for school board. So again, I've learned a lot. I appreciate all of the work you've done for our kids and for all of us, Dr. Smith. And the last 2 years as the co-chair of the Educational Affairs Committee, I've been lucky to work alongside of you to keep moving that needle, to keep getting, our district, to where it needs to be. So thank you. I will miss you. I will miss learning from you. I look forward to seeing again, like everyone else, all the great things that happen in Upper Merion. And I will deliver your flowers tomorrow to the office. They are pink and green.
Thank you, Ms. Mulhern. Mr. Burdell Williams.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. I'll echo Mr. Metcalf in saying that I think everyone knows I could be very long-winded. So I decided to write some stuff down this time because I could definitely go on and on and on about Dr. Smith. So Dr. Smith, you've been a guiding force during your tenure in Cheltenham with an emphasis on force. Take that for what you may, community. I think it is ironic, but also just in time that during Black History Month, I get to not just reflect, but to celebrate your accomplishments, and I'm proud to have the opportunity. In your time in CSD, which has been almost the entire time I've been in CSD, you have led us closer to educational excellence with a focus on supporting a more inclusive educational experience for all students. Your leadership and commitment to fostering the expansion and development of inclusive curriculum has been pivotal in the history of the district. You've been instrumental in shaping the educational experience for our scholars. Dr. Smith, you have truly been a catalyst for positive change from your seat as the lead of Office of Education. As you leave us and move on to your new role, just know that your leadership extends beyond curriculum, initiatives, professional development, textbooks, course offerings, classroom management skills, and asynchronous and synchronous virtual learning. Remember that? Your dedication to supporting every student's journey and that of the professionals that support those students has left an indelible mark on our district. I'd like to express my gratitude for your tireless efforts. I see you at basketball games, at events after we have our school board meetings. The impact you've had on our educational community will be felt for years to come. I have some friends in the Upper Merion district who are extremely excited for your arrival and are fully aware that they are getting an experienced, intelligent leader. Your legacy here will continue to inspire, and I wish you every success in your new role as superintendent in Upper Merion. Thank you very much, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell Williams. Ms. Lohman.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. And thank you, Mr. Burdell Williams. That was really nice. And I just really will second what you have to say. That's great. But Dr. Smith, I just want to thank you for all of your hard work over the past 8 years. I was actually in the audience at the board meeting where you were introduced to the district. And I thought, ooh, that lady has her work cut out for her. Good luck. And you have obviously more than risen to the challenge. It's been really a pleasure to work with you as a co-chair of the Educational Affairs Committee, but also just to really appreciate your commitment to excellence for everyone. I appreciate that greatly. And I'm really excited to see what you will do at Upper Merion. One of the MCIU board members who is from Upper Merion actually stopped me at the last MCIU board meeting and said, "Oh my goodness, I don't know if I should apologize or thank you, but we're so lucky and so happy to be getting Dr. Smith." And I was like, "You are in good hands. You will not be able to find someone who will work harder for your district, to do the right thing for all kids. So good luck, Dr. Smith, and all the best."
Thank you, Ms. Loman. Mr. Diazio?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Henry, and thank you for having the opportunity for a moment just to chime in with some of my own thoughts here. I don't know, thinking back over almost 10 years, I don't know that I've ever in any school district asked to speak in any type of public comment forum or anything like that, but this seems like a good time to make an exception to that. And I really just want to take an opportunity, Dr. Smith, to congratulate you. Your elevation to superintendent is a career milestone that is truly something to celebrate. My colleagues would tell you that I'm always telling them that professionally, some of the most important and meaningful work that I do is in Cheltenham. Cheltenham is a community that I care very deeply about and am truly proud to say that I represent as counsel. And when I think back to some of that work that has been the most meaningful over my time as the solicitor for the school district, it really focuses, and Mr. Epps stole some of my words, but it focuses around policy and procedures that have been implemented structurally in the district over the last several years. And whether that be through the years-long development of a signature equity policy, one of the most comprehensive at the time in the state, rethinking discipline, rethinking the delivery of professional development or other practices that support kids and support staff, you're always in the room when that work is being done. And as I reflected on your departure, it dawned on me how much I'll miss doing that work with you. There are really big shoes to fill in your office. And as Mr. Verdell Williams mentioned, there's a legacy that will not soon be forgotten from the work that you've done in this community. So Dr. Smith, I wish you the best in your next role and just want you to know that I'll be cheering you along in all of your successes. So the best of luck to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Diazio. Mr. Swigert?
Wishing I would have went before it at this point, but in my 20 years in and out of the school district world, there are few people you run into who really get it. And Dr. Smith, I can say you're one of those people who really get it, who really understand the work, who really understand what it means to be in the school district business. I'm really sad that we only got 18 months to work together. Wish we could have more. I'm really happy for you and your new position. And I know I speak for everyone in the office that we're really going to miss you, and Cheltenham is going to miss you, and that there's going to be a big void in your office.
Thank you, Mr. Swigert. And Dr. Smith, again, much success to you in your new role. This, I remember starting on the board with you and Dr. Marykay many, many, many years ago, and being, as they say, green behind the ears, having no idea, but being excited to work with two very thought leaders who helped to move this district forward in a way that hadn't been accomplished since I've been out here in Cheltenham. So as other people have said, your work will follow you, your legacy will follow you, and Upper Merion is lucky to have you. Ms. Murphy?
I just want to say, while I haven't worked very close up on Dr. Smith, I know she's fantastic, and it's been wonderful watching her elevate to the space where she is headed to now. So best of luck to you. I know you're going to be fantastic.
And I believe we have Dr. Scriven back. He lost audio and video for a minute there. So I do see him back online. Are you able to unmute yourself, Dr. Scriven? There you go.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me okay? Very good. So I'm not going to rehash what everybody just said. Doc, she already knows how I feel. Sometimes it's just time, and it's her time, and it's as simple as that. I don't believe anything happens by chance. This season that we had to spend together was very intentional, to prepare her for an opportunity such as this. And that's all she needed, was just the opportunity. So we're going to be colleagues now in a different realm, a different space. I'm excited about that. In the interim, we'll be bringing Marykay Feeley in. She's a retired superintendent from Lower Moreland, did about 13, 14 years there, strong in elementary and special education. She will start transitioning with Dr. Smith next week, just in terms of starting to kind of learn the lay of the land here. Dr. Smith is very thorough, and well, it's probably going to overwhelm her. It's a lot of information. It's 8 years of historical content and context that we'll be trying to download, to be quite honest with you. Our position has been posted, as you guys are aware, and that ball is now rolling. So don't want to get into all of that. Just want to really celebrate Doc with moving on to what she has prepared for her entire life. So we'll figure it out, and that's to be expected. And that's why you have to have succession plans, because what is happening for her is what should be happening throughout our district. As individuals have capacity, they should be taking that to a higher level. And that's exactly what she's doing. So kudos once again. Madam Chair, that's it for me, because I'm scared I'm going to lose you guys again. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Scriven. All right, we will now take the vote on the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries. And so now we are up to our public comments on non-agenda items. Again, if you are in the Zoom area and you would like to speak, please state your name and where you reside in the district. If you are watching us online, you can email CSD board meeting comments at cheltenham.org. And I am looking in the participant panel. I don't see any hands raised at this time. All right, we'll move on down our agenda. There were no prior public questions. And our future meetings are as listed on the agenda for the remainder of February and March. And I have a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So move, Charles Burdell Williams. Gotcha, Zach. Thackeray, excuse me.
It's all good. Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 All right, the meeting is adjourned.